The Dream 3 podcast, back in your life, episode number 29. A lot of stuff going on this weekend. It's a weird point in the sports category right now because football's over. We just had the combine this weekend. Baseball is basically killing itself by not having a season, and the owners and the players stuck in delegation. You have hockey going on. You have soccer. Looking forward towards the backside of this year. Like Neil said, the Lakers suck. Basketball isn't really that great to watch right now, unless you're a big Ja Morant fan. But there's still a lot of stuff for us to talk about. Biggest news of, I think, my week, I'm a first-time father. I had a baby boy this past week, March 1st, little Wesley in my life. So I'm doing
Congrats.
this podcast on 3 hours of sleep. So I'm trying to figure out what that dad life is like.
Sleep is for the weak. You can rest when you're dead.
I have figured that out. I'm on 3 hours of sleep and some McDonald's French fries for today. So
hey, whatever gets the job done.
We're moving forward in that. So the first topic I think we're going to kick off the show today with is the biggest news from today, and it broke midway through the day, is Calvin Ridley from the Atlanta Falcons is going to be suspended the entire 2022 season. For the reason was he was found out to be betting on NFL games. Now, I think this is kind of a touchy subject here because, as we know, Calvin Ridley was not with the team for most of the season.
He left for personal reasons.
For personal reasons, whether it be mental health, but we knew it was not an injury-related thing, but he's away from the team. So Schefter's reporting off of another source that there was no inside information. There was nothing like this. It was a bunch of parlay games. Now, Calvin Ridley has come out on Twitter and had a couple tweets back and forth saying that he did no more than $1,500 on the bets. He knows that he did something wrong, but he's getting a year suspension for it. My thought is this plays right into the NFL's hand of he's going to be made he's going to be made a victim, or not a victim, but he's going to be the poster boy of, hey, don't bet on NFL games that you're playing in or you're a part of the team. So now for the rest of time, he's going to be the poster child for that. What's your thoughts on that, Neil? Obviously, he wasn't with the team when he was betting, but we knew that with this new age of, the bet MGMs and all the DraftKings and the FanDuels and this and that coming into the sports game, that it was going to happen sometime.
Yeah. Makes you kind of wonder what the issue was with him leaving for personal reasons. It's like, what were you leaving for? Are you leaving because you lost a bunch of money and now you got to pay your bookies? Your bookies have you down in Mexico, and they have a bag over your head. Like, what's going on? I mean, sad. I think Ridley was my wide receiver that I picked in our little fantasy draft thing. So he owes me some money.
So I think the biggest thing out of this is, I can't compare it to a Pete Rose situation because Pete Rose was betting on games that he was involved in as a manager.
I didn't think he did. I thought he only bet on games that he wasn't involved in.
No, Pete Rose was betting on the Reds when he was the manager of the Reds.
Oh.
So this situation with Calvin Ridley is, it's touchy because depending on where he lives, Georgia, Florida, Bama, or Mississippi, none of those are betting states. Just like you're in Ohio, you can't have a FanDuel account, a DraftKings account, and bet. Where here in Indiana, betting
he would have to do like an online bookie.
So either that or he has a bookie somewhere, or et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know, it's a weird situation, but to see Calvin Ridley come out on Twitter today and kind of defend himself, I think that's kind of good. But he's the first guy, so the NFL is going to come down hard on him. and there's no ways around it.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. D. Bland said they had to make an example out of him. You said that. I agree. I think you have to, because you don't want that. You don't want that running around. You don't want that causing problems. The NFL's made so much money, and their ratings have gone just exponentially and exponentially higher over the past couple of years. You don't want something like this ruining your reputation, knocking down your product. I mean, the NFL is the biggest product in America, and it's not even close. So you got to keep it clean.
You have to. You have to
make an example out of him. Do it for anybody. Cut him for a year. I don't care. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean,
besides, it's the Falcons. It's not like they're going to make noise.
Yeah, but it's also that, he knows what the rules are as being a player in the league. You willingly broke those rules. Now you got caught, so you got to serve the punishment.
Yep. Sucks to suck. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Simple as that.
All right. Next thing on our topic list was the NFL Combine was this past weekend. Checks in started on. You weren't. So when you were working with the Colts, you weren't involved in anything with the Combine, were you?
Not with the Colts when I worked for them. It was, so when I was in undergrad, we would partner with the NFL Combine at my school, and just serve as like medical history examiners. So I would do that. And then it just so happened that like the next year I worked for the Colts, and they're the ones that I saw. So like I knew the guys who were already there helping with the medical exams. I was just assisting. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the way it goes is you do a history exam with them and the players, and then they move on to their next part of their screen. And once they clear all that stuff, then they go to the Combine.
So it's, what we used to call it when we were all doing combines, whether it been in high school or college, is like a cattle call or a meat market. You're basically getting poked and prodded, through the medical exam. Are they still doing the Wonderlic test? I think they are. I'm not sure. I
never administered it just in my section. It was just basically you're just confirming their medical history. Mm-hmm. Because they send it. They have everything sent over from their individual schools. So
then you have your individual meetings with, the teams that are interested with you. And now there's a certain time and certain questions that teams are allowed to ask you now. You start your day at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then about night, you're about to run the 40 that you'll be remembered for the rest of your life, which is kind of ridiculous when you have no time to prepare, sleep. You see guys running in the hallways. I remember the first year they let fans come to the Combine, and you had to get a ticket and you had to be selected for it. And me, Tommy, and Craig went down there, and just to see, the guys warming up in the hallway at the convention center and see the massive human beings that are at the Combine. And, 336 players, I believe, get invited, and, 250 of them will get drafted, possibly, maybe even guys who are, don't go to the Combine, or people that go to the Combine don't always get drafted. So,
what's funny is the year that I did the NFL Combine, and then the next year that I did, the year that I worked for the Colts, and then the next year I did for the NFL Combine was 2014. So that was Aaron Donald's rookie year. So he was at the Combine. So cool story.
Yeah.
And I just so happened to work defensive line that day as well.
Oh, that's cool. I remember when Chris got invited to the Combine, he was basically the last person to get picked to go to the Combine. And the worst Combine score of all time. And, we talked about on the podcast when he was on, like, he had the worst 40 out of all the defensive linemen. But he had a bum ankle too. So to me, I'm a guy that enjoys watching the Combine, the Underwear Olympics. I like seeing the 40s. I like to see guys, display their athletic ability. Bench press, that one I can kind of give or take. It's cool to see guys rep 225, 20, 30 times, but I'm not sure how much on field
that. Here's what I always tell people, and this is what I tell my athletes too, is like, that's cool if you can bench 500 pounds, But that doesn't help you when you get pancaked on the field unless you're bench pressing the guy off of the top of you because you got pancaked. Like,
Exactly.
Cool. I think there's more explosive movements that you can do that are more football related.
The vertical and the broad jump are good bases to see how explosive power you have in your legs. And, that translates mostly to a good 40. Depending specifically position-wise, 3-cone drill.
3-cone. 3-cone and shuttle.
But if you're a linebacker, I love shuttle drill. That was one of my best drills. And then the position-specific stuff. But it was a fast combine. You saw 4
I think across the board, the numbers were all really good.
I want to say there were more than 10 guys in the 4 3s and dipped into the 4-2 range.
In wide receivers, 1. In corners, 2 guys. Yeah, 3 guys in 4-2 numbers.
That's correct, and that's 4-2 official numbers. This is laser timed. If anybody's ever run a 40 time that is laser, that's accurate, unbelievably, because you'll have the hand timer, and what they used to do is you'd see all the scouts up at the top run their hand timers. They all check it with each other and kind of take the average of that. But the laser time is, I remember my first time running a laser.
There's probably 20, 25 guys who ran 4 3s or lower.
That's crazy. I remember, did you ever run a laser time at like a Nike Spark Combine or something like that?
Once.
I couldn't believe how much slower I felt when I ran with a laser.
I think the fastest I ever ran was like a 4.9, 8 or something. Like I wasn't any blazer. And that was after I was done with football and lost a whole bunch of football weight. So
I did a Nike Combine in Columbus. And they were going to take the best guys to do the Nike Combine at the Ohio State facility. Yeah. And I was so close to getting in, but my laser 40 time, which I was hand timing like a high 4.6, and I ended up running like a 4.78.
Yeah. I think Bev ran like a 4.5 or a 4.47 on laser. And I think he did that right at the end of high school. That's right. But
we were able to see one thing I love about the combine is you get to see, freak athletes. The defensive tackle from Georgia, 341 pounds, running 4.7 lasered official time. Could you imagine large human beings like that chasing you down and putting that weight on you?
Yeah.
To see offensive linemen who are well over 300 pounds, I want to say there was more than 8. You might have the numbers that ran in the 4s.
Oh, more than that. 12 guys.
12 guys running in the 4s, over 300 pounds. That's athletic big man who can run.
That's crazy.
It's
12 guys.
And I think that's just going to keep getting better and better as, the years go on, because training becomes different, technology becomes different, knowing how to, make your body run. You got to think that these guys are spending, or not these guys personally, but their agents are putting these guys in training facilities, spending $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to get these guys ready for this event and their pro day. So as an agent, because that's kind of what I went to school for, and that's what I wanted to do when I got out of college, these guys are upfronting paying for this specific training, paying, $40,000 on a guy who you hope gets drafted. And, some guys take it seriously in their training. Some guys don't. And, numbers don't lie.
So what's funny is I actually love the combine just from a pure athletic ability standpoint. But in my research, going through all the medical school stuff that I've done and being in sports medicine, you learn to find out that the research actually shows there is no correlation between great combine results and how well you will actually be, or how good you will actually be in the NFL. So yeah, you
Absolutely.
can go run a 4.3 40, but as we've all seen, Darius Hayward-Bay, that don't mean you can catch a ball, and if you can run 4.3, whoop-de-doo. The same thing translates for bench press, 3-cone, all that stuff. They're intangibles, they're athletic abilities, but they're not always the determining factor. Needless to say, I enjoy it, but I do know that there's some research out there that kind of shows that, those the results aren't everything. They can help, they can hurt, but
Like
they
we
aren't
said,
everything.
Like we said with Chris, worst 40 times, smallest defensive lineman in the combine. He got drafted 6 overall, or not 6 overall, in the 6th round, and ended up leading the NFL rookies in sacks.
And has a Super Bowl ring.
And has the Super Bowl ring, which most of those guys didn't even make the playoffs in their careers.
Yeah.
So, there's so many things that, translate. It's kind of lucky. You got to get put in the right scheme, the right fit, and then how you get in and put the pads on. There's a huge difference between, underwear Olympics and putting the pads on and playing football.
Yep.
It's different. Anybody who's ever played the game knows that.
So I work for, and I work for a high school, and our high school is notorious for recent history of bad record in football. The first 4 years I worked here, we went 2-38. So we had 2 wins, 38 losses in 4 years. But I will tell you, we never lost a scrimmage. But yeah, we couldn't put it together. There is a difference between going out there and practice and going out there in a 7-on-7 or a scrimmage and lining up 11-on-11 with everything on the line and actually winning a game. Yeah, you got to go out and win the game. And some of that stuff you can't teach. Like, it's heart, it's determination, it's drive, it's effort. And some of those guys are they're gamers. Like, one guy I know when I worked for the Colts, 2014, was Ahmad Bradshaw. And you remember him from the New York Giant days. But yep. Ahmad was a guy who on game day just flipped the switch on a different level. I mean, when he played for the Colts, he played 2 years. He broke his ankle twice, but when he did play, he had 10 touchdowns or something in like 8 games.
Yeah, he was a monster. He was a thick monster, and Dugenais. You believe some guys are just combine hogs, but on the field it doesn't translate. Yes, I would say the biggest example, and I don't want to rag on this guy because he's cool, and I got to talk to him this past weekend. Back in the 1989 NFL draft, number 2 overall out of Michigan State, Tony Mandrich. Tony Mandrich, left tackle, Michigan State. He was 6'6", 315, solid 4'7", 40, bench press 225. I want to say 37 times, 40 times, something like that. He was on the SI covered, The Incredible Bulk. When he got to Green Bay, he couldn't play left tackle. He was getting destroyed, and he became the Incredible Bust. Now, come to find out, he was never sober during that. He was taking painkillers and this and that, and on steroids, and cleaned his life up. He had a little decent career with the Colts, but just because you have great combine numbers does not mean that you're going to be a great football player.
Yeah. Who was it? Wasn't like Antonio Brown ran like a 4.6 40 or something?
Yeah. I mean, Jerry Rice was a 4.7 guy.
Yeah. Greatest wide receiver of all time, 4.7 guy.
And, Mandrich juiced like crazy, but, to be honest, there is no professional athlete that has not juiced. Guaranteed. The NFL is the biggest one, and I'll tell you why. Because the NFL, they tell you when they're going to test. They will tell the players when they are going to test. There is no steroid testing in the NFL. There is drug testing, but there is no steroid testing. So you can't tell me that guys who are 6'6", 330 like Bob Sapp and have a 12-pack abs is all natural by eating nothing but lean ground beef and chicken.
Hey, speak for yourself, dude.
unless these guys are the 1% of the 1% of
no.
human
Okay.
beings and athletes.
I think they've all been given the necessary additions to help out with their talents, but let's not get away from the fact that the people in the NFL, their talent is the 0.1% of 1%.
For sure. Steroids don't make you a good football player.
Correct. They do not.
Steroids don't make you a good fighter. They don't make you a good boxer.
No.
They help you. Steroids help you recover so you can train longer and train harder.
Yep. Yeah.
Like I wish I took steroids so my body would hurt.
Yeah.
All right, last thing about the combine. So apparently this is the last year that the combine is going to be in Indianapolis. It's up for bid next year between cities like Vegas, Dallas, LA. You had a lot of people come out and say, like, don't move the combine out of Indy. It's what's great about Indy is it's all connected inside. You don't have to walk outside to go anywhere.
Right.
You have all your medical facilities in one area. You have the stadium in one area that can be walked to right inside the stadium from the convention center. You have the hotels. You have all the bars and the restaurants. It's a great thing. Like, and I understand what the NFL is trying to do. They're trying to spread it around and get more fans involved and make a little money out of it. But it's been here for 20 something years, 28 years. Why change? If it's not broke, why are you trying to fix it?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I agree. Yeah, they're just trying to milk the money. I don't know. Maybe Roger Goodell's got to pay off his bookies now, and that's probably why.
Could be.
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe Indianapolis wins the bid again, and maybe they have it. I don't know.
Well, I think it all started from Schefter tweeting something about cold Indianapolis in February. It's like, where are you staying where you have to be outside to go to the combine? You can stay.
You can walk from the JW to the convention center, and the convention center you can find your way over to the.
You go underground and up into the stadium. You could do that from anywhere. You could walk from the downtown mall to any of the hotels, and it's all connected where you don't have to walk outside once. So could you imagine? So what I hope is they have the combine at Buffalo so Schefter can stick it and be like, oh, it's cold here. So don't move the combine out of Indianapolis. Like it's Jeff Foster and his team are perfect in how they have it set up.
Yep, I agree.
All right.
What's next?
Card market, sports cards. What's going on?
Well, football's done.
And football cards are kind of leveling off and dropping.
Yeah, we're hitting the football off season. So people are getting out of stuff.
If you're looking to buy, this is a great time to start investing in those Joe Burrows and those Herberts and those.
Yeah, people are going to be at this. Yeah, people are going to be on this already. The market, like you could say, that people are. There's going to be a big off-season dip, but I think the market, just the entire sports card market, has matured to the point where people are already buying in early, and if you're not buying in early already, then you're already behind. I'm sure there'll be a little more drop-off, but you never know when that bottom's going to hit.
For sure.
And then start going back up. And with the combine, that kind of helps kind of level things off, and then when the draft comes, that'll level things off.
Yeah, because now we're thinking once the combine starts, people start thinking card market of who's going to be the top players next year. It's a really quarterback less draft. So how's the football product market for 22/23? Like, are you looking for Malik? You're looking for Kenny Pickett?
No, I think because Panini's and all their releases are so far back now, you're not going to have the 2021 product until 2022 season is already underway. Mm-hmm. And then you're buying Prism in June and you're buying National Treasures in October or September. At this point, like, you're still going to have prospecting of the previous class. They say it's bad that it's been pushed back this far, but I kind of see where it makes sense, because like you see what happens in the rookie year, but like with Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, they got better. Like they got better. Jalen Hurts got better. Tua got better. Like that whole class got better in their second year, and I mean, that class has taken off.
I mean, that's why a lot of people invest really heavy on the rookie cards, because really the sophomore season is going to tell you how this player is going to be.
Right. No, I agree.
So, football cards, it's time to buy in if you really, really want to go. NBA cards, it's kind of a weird, unless you're a Ja Morant fan, like Ja's going through the roof. And
yeah, he's like 4x since the beginning of the season.
I mean, he scored 98 points in 2 games, in back-to-back games. Like if you're holding Ja Morant, this is a perfect time for you.
Yeah, I think if you wanted to sell Ja Morant, you're probably up on it and you're probably okay selling. If you wanted to hold and wait for the playoffs, maybe they make a run like Trae Young did last year, the conference finals. Maybe you get a little more bump. I say if you have Ja Morant, probably wouldn't be a bad time to sell. Only because you can move that money into a playoff contender like the Bucks and go with Giannis, or move to the Warriors and pick up some Curry, or if you believe in the Nets, you could pick up KD or even Chris Paul or somebody like that. I think it's a good opportunity to move money if you're in Ja Morant. Me, I'm still sitting on LeBron, which reminds me, believe it or not, after LeBron had his 56-point game, I had like 10 people message me on eBay and through Instagram about the black refractor. Like they wanted to buy it. And I'm like, where were you like last week? Does LeBron have to go score 56 points to show you he's great again? Mm-hmm. Like he's only, tied for second in the league in scoring, his 19th year.
So this plays right into Duchenay's comment of how does their play affect the card market?
Oh, it goes up.
As soon as somebody has a great game or a great back-to-back game, and the perfect example that we keep using was when Kobe White was a rookie, when he had 3 40-point games in a row. Everybody wanted Kobe White cards. Everybody. Mm-hmm. Now you couldn't give Kobe White cards away.
Yep.
So
LeBron was dead last week. Now he's the hottest face besides Ja Morant.
So Ja Morant cards through the roof. You could get a base Prism PSA 10 like a month ago for about $125. Now they're going for about $235, $240. Yeah. Raw silver cards are about $400.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Ja's through the roof. I don't know. Maybe the Lakers go on a run here. Maybe they make the playoffs, and I don't know. Maybe they don't suck anymore.
one thing that I think is a good buy, and we've talked about in the past, even though that the baseball owners are killing their own sport, it's not a bad idea to invest in some baseball right now.
Yeah, I think like when the news came out that they canceled the first 2 series of the year, and I think if you hear more news like they're canceling the first month of the regular season, I think that can cause people to probably want to sell or like just cut their losses. And then maybe it's a good buying opportunity, if there's not a lot of good speculation that the season's going to continue, maybe you buy and just hope that eventually it'll come around,
I've bought more baseball in the last few months than anything else with that exact thought of, if baseball's not playing, nobody's paying attention to baseball. So people want to move their product. So buy low, sell high. So I'm buying my Luis Robert, Bo Bichette, Fernando Tatis. I can't afford Acuna yet, but
maybe one day.
But we're getting there. Like invest in guys that, you think are going to have a great year. I'm not into prospecting. We've been through that. Like prospecting is super hard.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of info to take in. It's a lot of following. If people are down with that, good for you. But I'm going to stick with guys that really are
proven prospect or proven players.
prospects, like Luis Roberts. He's been in the majors.
Injured last year, but came back strong. Boba Galvin Lux really took a nosedive. Tatis, I think, is a long-term play anyway. I picked up that refractor PSA 10. You could say Wander Franco probably is a good one.
Wander Franco is the hot topic right now that everybody wants. It's just you have to be very picky and choosy. Juan Soto is, if you had his prospect auto right now, it's anywhere between like 9 to 15,000.
Yeah, that's rated high. You know how old he is? 23 years old.
Really?
23 years old. Isn't that nuts? I didn't realize that. I heard it on another podcast. I was like, what? 23? That's nuts.
So it's one of those things where if you want to invest in those guys, it's perfect to do instead of, paying super high prices for Mike Trout, even though Mike Trout moves the needle in baseball. Like, he's hurt. He's always hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the quote unquote GOAT of cards for baseball at the moment. But, if he doesn't play a season, his cards level out. I'm looking for guys that are going to produce, long term. Maybe like we're always trying to make that 3 to 5%. And if you can get anything over than that, that's just icing on the cake. So being smart with your picks and with your cards, not just buying a ton of stuff. Like I was even looking into some Jason Dominguez, even though I don't want to prospect. I know he's going to play, or he played single A in Florida last year.
And he'll be another one.
He's thinking of, I was reading up on some Jason Dominguez. He's thinking 2 years to the majors.
Because he's 19.
Yeah.
So probably 1 to 2 years. 2023. Probably next year is probably his chance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he'll be 2021.
I can answer this question right now. Speaking of good things to buy, Caleb, can you tell me some more on prospective NHRA cards? Yes, I can. We have been in discussion, myself and Cruz and the NHRA. I had a meeting, it was probably 3 weeks ago, with the, one of the big card manufacturers. I won't say who, because I don't want to spoil anything out there, but one of the big card manufacturers, and trying to put a deal together for, I don't know if we probably won't obviously make production this year, but next year is a huge possibility. There's a lot of stuff that goes into doing a card deal. Like if it was me and Cruz, like I could sign Cruz's licensing away in a second for like, kind of like how Leaf does. Like Leaf is individual guys. Speaking of, did you see they signed Holland today?
I did not.
That was their big news that they dropped on YouTube today, that Leaf signed Holland and are going to do soccer cards. So
did they not get Mbappe?
They did not know. I believe Mbappe is Panini.
Did he sign with Panini?
I believe so. Yes.
Because here's the thing. Mbappe has no autos.
Very true.
So
very true.
Leaf going after Holland, great.
That's a
Mbappe would have been the icing on the cake.
Yeah. So for the NHRA cards, it's in the process. Still going through all the, you have to get everybody on board. You have to, do some things here and there. But I'm looking towards 2023, but did get to have talked to vice president and a CEO of one of the major card companies. Had a video conference. It was me, that company, and the NHRA. So moving forward, it's looking good like that. But let's go on to soccer, because soccer cards, we just talked about Mbappe, Holland. I am watching, because of this, getting ready for World Cup. I find myself watching Premier League soccer games on the regular now.
Sunday morning.
Like
Wesley's going to end up being a Chelsea fan.
I'm sure Craig Perry would be fine with that. Unless Woody, the Jets owner, he's talking about buying Chelsea. I'm not down with that.
Yeah, he might run that thing into the ground.
But I think a combination of, playing a little bit more FIFA, soccer cards, watching the Premier League, I'm a little bit more invested in these guys. Obviously, I'm not like, we've talked to Josh. Josh is, balls deep into soccer right now. He's 400 or 500 cards in, and he's only
He might have more cards in his collection than I do right now.
I guarantee he's got more than me.
No, you got all those Tuckers and Chris Jones.
That doesn't count. That's a PC. But Josh is doing it. Soccer is what he does, what he gets involved with. Like you and me are kind of football, basketball. We can understand stuff like that. Soccer, like, he knows who's hot in the MLS, who's going to move forward, who's getting loaned out to, European teams, who's hot in the Euros, who's going to make the national teams, where are they playing in the national teams. I can like a little bit of knowledge, but soccer's not a bad play right now. If you can't afford a Haaland or an Mbappe or something like that, start looking at other guys like Harry Kane, Jordan Sancho. Even if you can get a cheap 14 World Cup Prism Cristiano Ronaldo,
if he makes it.
But still,
Portugal has to play Italy for the knockout on who's going to actually make the World Cup.
But still, I think Ronaldo's one of the GOAT players. I don't think it would matter. It wouldn't matter if they made it or not, because he is 37. I know he's close to 40.
I don't remember.
I know he's close to 40, but he's one of those GOAT players that I think if you have one of those tier cards that people are looking for, it's a good long-term hold. That's why I got that Lionel Messi rookie.
Yeah.
You can be smart. Christian Pulisic. I have in my collection a couple Mbappes, Christian Pulisic, Sancho. I sold my Ronaldos, Lionel Messi, and then kind of like if I see some things, I'll text Josh and kind of get the insight on that. He's like we said, he's way more knowledgeable than I am on who's in and who's out. So
yeah, definitely more than me. I'm not gonna say I've pretty much just taken off almost. Like I haven't bought baseball. I put together like an entire sheet where I prospected I did a whole analysis on what to buy for like Acuna, Tatis, Franco, Julio Rodriguez, all these guys. And then I did the same thing with soccer. I was like Mbappe and Messi, Ronaldo, and I just haven't bought anything. I don't know why. I just haven't bought anything.
I've been back on
buying stuff.
I've been back on the buying train mostly because I missed and I made a bunch of sales that going back through and doing my taxes and remember if you're buying and selling cards, always keep track of your buying sales and your sheets and all that for tax information. Don't not do that. It's a pain in the ass, and don't wait till the last second to do that. It's a pain in the ass too. Yep. Going back and looking at all my game patch autos and the ones that I sold, and thinking now of that's probably the wrong move. So I'm getting back into obtaining the game patch to use autos. I got a couple more. I've probably bought 10 in the last 2 weeks, and because we had that long discussion of it's one of those things that we don't know if it's going to go away. Getting the game used jerseys to infuse in a card. Is Fanatics going to do it? How long is this going to last? It's something real, especially if you get a used piece that's dirty or bloody or something like that.
Well, I don't think as long as Panini still holds the license for the next 2-3 years, you won't see very many game used stuff. And it'll primarily only be in basketball. You won't see much in football. So from that aspect, like, buy up all the game used football that you like. Personally, like, I've collected like the top 2 quarterbacks, the top 2 wide receivers, running backs, defensive players. I'm trying to just collect the 2 best pretty much at every position, just because I think they're underrated.
I believe I agree with you. I think all that's underrated. I think it's good long-term holds for anything. I'm not. You have the 2 per position. I'm kind of looking at, guys who I like. Like if you go to my Instagram page, I got that Tiki Barber, exquisite patch auto. Not a huge Tiki Barber fan, but that's a cool card.
Yeah.
What else? What else have I got? That Chris Chelios. Got that Chris Chelios.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, I would say.
Super dirty patch. And Donovan Sue rookie. I got that mostly because it was jersey numbered. There's a lot of stuff, and then going to Gizmos, like I texted you guys, going to Gizmos and slamming through the $1.25 boxes and seeing 1997 SPX John Stockton and Chris Martin, get that stuff for a quarter, and then going to find all that 2018 Topps Chrome UFC stuff. That Justin Gaethje refractor, if it PSA 10s, it's like $400.
I saw that because the Justin Gaethje, that's the rookie, isn't it?
The Gaethje's a rookie.
Yeah.
The Peter Yans. I got 2 Peter Yans that are just base.
Yeah.
For 50 cents. They're selling for $11 raw.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I
was talking with Justin about this. We should do like a top 10 UFC guys
of all time. That could be a way to. We could start off season 2 with that.
I would like that. We could start off season 2 with that.
Season 2.
I don't know. Should we do 10 or 5?
5 would be hard. 10 will be hard because is it just going to be UFC or can there be Pride guys?
No, it's UFC.
Okay,
if you didn't make it to the UFC, you weren't that good.
So you're going to say Fedor is not in the top 10?
No.
Oh, we could have a long discussion about that.
Here's the thing, like, okay, cool, Fedor, but like, there's plenty of guys you could probably put in there, and you got to remember, like, these older guys in UFC, were they as technically skilled, or was they just like ahead of their time? Does that make sense?
I know what you're saying.
Like Conor McGregor, people are head over heels in love with Conor McGregor as the GOAT. Hands down, he is not the GOAT, and it's not even close. Like, yeah, he was great at punching people's lights out, but what happened when he faced Khabib?
True.
And GSP was great standing up. He was great on the ground. He was great in the clinch. I mean, I don't know.
All right, save your talk for when we do this podcast. Let's not give.
Remember, with every other position in football, the top 5 are easy. It's 5 through 10 that.
For that different. One, we might have to bring Justin on.
Yeah,
get involved with that one.
Yeah, we could do that.
Well, I think we need to do that.
So there's some guys. There's some old guys that I remember who I think would love to. I think are worthy of the list. Pioneers, if that makes sense.
One sport I think right now is a good investment point to start looking at is golf. With the Masters starting to come up, golf getting more popular. Tiger won the most social media following or whatever that they get paid for. That golf made that giant money pool. He got like $6 million for having the most like followers or more followers or something like that. And Phil was number 2. But I think golf is an interesting one to start getting involved with. It's becoming, I'm not saying it's not popular, but it's getting a little bit more accepted. Is accepted the right word?
Yeah, I think the market hasn't fully matured yet, so there's definitely room for development and growth. If you think about it, truly, like, all of early golf was centered around Tiger Woods.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have people to look after like Colin Morikawa, Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Like there's rookie cards of those people. Rory McIlroy. Like there's some potential if the market matures, but the market's gotta mature, and I think there's definitely some potential for development and maturity there.
Awesome. And we need to get Adam Hawk from Nation Golf Company, one of our sponsors, one of the co-owners of Nation Golf Company. We need to get him on there. They actually sponsor one of the caddies this past weekend at the Arnold Palmer Classic. So
Who was it?
Go to their Instagram, nationgolfco.com, or and go find out. Let me look real quick.
It's a good plug.
But they got some nice stuff. Let's see who did the. Where is it? Patton Kazari, Bagman.
Okay. Patton.
Joe Eder.
Okay.
So Nation Golf did a collaboration with Arnold Palmer Spiked and did a really cool Arnold Palmer Spiked hat. And then they had a polo design and it was very cool. You go check it out. nationgolfco.com. Hard collar stuff. I own a couple. Very nice. I can't wait to go golfing in it this year. It's going to be badass. But definitely we need to get him on. Trying to think of I'm trying to look, one thing that I really wanted to kind of touch on real quick was, do you feel that when people are selling their cards, are they realistic with the price, or are they just trying to set the new high for whatever that card is?
Both. Number one, you have to look at what card they're selling. If they're selling a base PSA 10 where there's 20,000 in the pop report and they want over comps for it, they're stupid. But if they're selling a Jaw Prism Gold to 10 and the last one sold for $20,000 in January, I'm pretty sure a Jaw Prism Gold would go over $20,000 in March. So I think it's kind of depending upon each card, the rarity of it and everything goes in. But here's the other thing. People need to stop asking under comps on things if they want a high-end card. If you want the high-end card, you pay the money for it. You take out your checkbook and you pay the damn money. Like if someone's asking for $1,000 over and that's the only one that's available, that's probably fair. Especially if it's a guy that's on the rise like Jaw, or if we're talking about LeBron, for instance, and LeBron's bottom was when his black refractor sold for $17,000 2 months ago, and then a month ago it sells for $19,000. The next one probably is not going to sell for lower, regardless of how bad they are. Mm-hmm. LeBron's also nearing a significant career accomplishment this year, where he's going to pass Karl Malone to be the number 2 all time. He's also going to have 10,000 rebounds and 10,000 assists, be the only person to ever have 30,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists in a career. And at the end of this year, he will be top 5 in assists, top 25 in rebounds, and 30,000 points. I mean, second all time. So he's going to be almost top 25 or better in every statistical category.
So that's
there's
to me that's kind of a dead given. If you're paying for a GOAT card, be willing to shill out the money. But yeah, I'm talking about
nobody's going to go under comps for it. Stupid. No.
But I'm talking about for example, I just looked up. I'm doing one of my searches of kind of what I look for at night. So 2021 Immaculate Football, Chris Johnson, the former running back for the Titans. Triple patch on-card auto, 1 out of 5. Game worn stuff. So it's triple patch, 3 game worn, On card auto, 1 out of 5, $150. Fair? Not fair.
It's probably fair.
Okay. Out of 99, same type of card, but out of 99, $89.99. Fair or not?
No, it's probably $50.
So I mean, I can scroll through a lot of these, and I'll make offers on a lot of stuff that get kicked back as a no. And
that's where it becomes hard, because like the example or another example is like if you find a Deacon Jones patch auto, there may only be 3 or 4, and nobody wants to sell them for cheap. So whatever the price is, it's probably what it's going to go for. Or like like PMGs are really hot, right? So
super, yeah.
So nobody's gonna willingly go under comps for PMGs if a card is super rare and there's only been 2 sales in the last 2 months. Like you're gonna have to pay a little bit more if you want a PMG that bad. Otherwise, you're gonna sit and you're gonna wait for it to come back down.
So one of the cards that I did make an offer on, Greg Jennings 2015 Flawless. It's a 4-color patch on card. This is Greg Jennings with the Dolphins, not with the Packers, with the Dolphins. You only played 1 year with the Dolphins. So on card, it's out of 15. I offered $17.
Okay.
Guy wanted 50.
Here's part of this. Caleb, how many times have you dealt with multiple $100 or multiple $1,000 transactions?
Tons.
Okay. What's $50 in the grand scheme of this hobby right now? What can $50 get you in this hobby just from like rookies?
Base cards.
Maybe. So you're talking about a quad 4-color patch of Greg Jennings in the only year he ever played with the Dolphins for $50. I'm kind of like, okay, if you really want it that bad, pay the $50.
Yeah,
but let's stop scrounging over $23 or $33.
But my thought is, like, I'm sure I'm the only person that's put in a bid, or not a bid, but an offer on that in probably about a year, because, like you said, people aren't collecting Greg Jennings Dolphins stuff.
But there's also super collectors like Duke, who's collecting Duke Johnson for the Browns.
Who's collecting Chad Henne?
Dude, it's a quarterback. Like Michigan people, Michigan fans. Like Justin, he has the entire rainbow of Connor Cook from Michigan State. Sometimes, like, the collectability, like you're collecting for the fact that you're collecting. Sometimes you just gotta collect it. Like, you just gotta pay the price.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to pay $3,000 for an Aaron Donald rookie PSA 10, but the last one sold for $3,500, and this is the only one on the market. $3,000. Okay, well, I guess I'll pay it.
To me, the difference is if it's a card that I really, really want, I'm not gonna bust somebody's chops over a couple $100. If it's something that I think, like, come on, like, no one's paying top dollar for this card, at least work with me on.
Then you know what you can give them? You can give them the middle finger and say, keep putting it on your listings, because ain't nobody gonna buy it.
Because I'm gonna be the only one that's gonna offer you money. It's one of those things that, well, I'm not gonna take a loss on anything. Well, if you got a card from 2006 that nobody wants and I'm offering you something, are you going to take the money, or do you want to sit on that card?
I'm with you on that. Like, there's people who still have a Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel auto's going for $50.
Like thousands of dollars on eBay, and you're like, dude, like, the guy's a pothead crack addict. Or like, Tyrone Biggums wouldn't even pay for his stuff.
Anybody who's holding a Shield auto of some guy who made it 6 months in the league, who was asking $500-600 for it, like, it's not. Just move on with the card. It's a $100 or less card.
Yeah, I think people are getting, yes, to your point, some people get greedy with it. Um, especially on the low end, like just stuff that they've held on to, and it's a pride thing. It's all a pride thing.
For sure.
I never moved it for the price that I should have moved it for because I held it on, and then now I'm stuck with it, and now I'm not going to take a loss, and I'm just going to keep taking a loss until
it's worthless.
Yeah,
And you're going to have to
exactly.
hang on to it for
Exactly.
the rest of your life.
Exactly. They're going to
That-
hold it to the grave. And that's the problem, I think, with some of these old crusty collectors. But sometimes, like if it's a personal collection thing, like sometimes you just pay the money. Like I have an Eric Dickerson that I bought when I started this game use collection. The guy wanted like 400 net, right? So he never responded to me. Like I said, okay, fine, 400. And he never responded to me. And I kept sending the stupid eBay offers. But the listing price was like 450 or something like that. So he would never take it off eBay. He would never listen to me. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy it outright. I'm gonna pay the extra $50. I'm just gonna buy the card, and then I'm gonna leave you a negative review for how much of a trash bag you are. Sometimes that's what you just have to do. You say what? You know what? I'll pay the extra $50 just to tell you to stop being a tool bag.
That, or if you have the best offer option, this is what really grinds my gears. If you have the best offer option and the best offer I can make is $5 less than your listing price.
Yeah.
Don't even have the listing. Don't even have the offer button on.
That's trash. Yeah, I hate that.
I hate that. And it's like, I'll keep upping my price, but let's be realistic, because depending on the platform we're working with, like I'm going to pay out the ass on taxes, on shipping, on this and that. That's why sponsor plug, use MySlabs. Sell your raw cards, sell your graded cards.
Way to add that in.
Sell everything on MySlabs. Get off of eBay. Prices on eBay are going through the roof. Taxes and eBay fees are going through the roof. Go to MySlabs. You're going to pay no more than 3%. Starting everything less than 1%. It's going to be awesome. Yep. Slabs 1%, raw cards 3%.
Yep, MySlabs. That's where you go.
That's all I'm buying, and 45,000 verified users. That's a great thing about MySlabs. Just to jump in there real quick, is verified users, and these guys like Matthew, they really care about the customer experience. If you do not respond within 3 days, your account's done for.
Yep.
If there's
canceled
anything shady that you do, your account, you're banned, you're gone, you're out there. Those guys take it extremely serious. I've had nothing but great reviews, except for that one dude that my Tatis card that the guy broke up. The guy who broke up with his girlfriend and left.
Yeah,
and left all of his cards. I was like,
that was great.
I just paid, a couple $100
tell the story.
For this
tell
card.
the story. Tell the story.
Okay, so I'm on MySlabs. I'm looking to buy baseball. I found a Fernando Tatis Jr. PSA 10 refractor rookie.
Is this the one that you have now?
Yes, it's the one that I have now. So I bought it. I was like, got a great price for it, and I'm excited. And, a day goes by, no tracking. Normally, with MySlabs, it's hooked up to your text. So you get a text if you get an offer, or if somebody buys your stuff, and then you have like 24 to 3 days, or 24 hours to 3 days to put in a tracking number.
Yep.
So nothing. So I emailed the guy and I said, hey man, kind of what's going on? Like, I bought this card, like what's tracking? And then he sends me like this 9-paragraph thing back that, him and his girlfriend broke up. They lived in New York. He left, he grabbed his stuff and went back to his parents' house, but he left his cards at the apartment. He doesn't know when he's going to go back to the apartment to get his cards. And I was like, oh, here we go. Super shady. So I reached out on the MySlabs forums and just put it out there, kind of screenshotted the whole thing of what happened, kind of let the community know. And then Matthew, who's one of the, I think he's a co-owner.
He's one of the administrators on Facebook.
He's one of the admins.
Greeny.
Yeah, great dude. Got a really, really hands-on. He reached out to him, and then that guy got back to me. But it's like, you listen to everybody else, like, why are you going to leave and just leave your card collection there, especially if there's, thousands and thousands of dollars of cards there. So whatever.
Don't have crazy ex-girlfriends.
Don't have crazy ex-girlfriends. And if you do leave the house, take your cards with you, especially if somebody,
forget the clothes. You can always buy clothes. You can't buy
if somebody just bought, especially if somebody just sent you a bunch of money to buy a card, send that. So ended up getting it after a week or so. I'm happy.
That was a funny story.
Oh, it wasn't funny at the time. It was funny on the forum though.
Yeah. Don't tell your girlfriends, don't tell your wives where you put your cards at.
No.
Hide them so that way you can always go back and grab them.
Yeah. Don't do that. Cool. Well, you got anything else to break down on?
No, I think we're good. Let's see. What's next week? Are there any events coming up? Are there any UFC events coming up other than Colby Covington?
Nothing huge.
Laying on top of Jorge Masvidal for 5 rounds.
Who thought that Colby was actually going to strike with Jorge? He's a great wrestler. Why would you ever strike if you're a wrestler? Like
he straight up GSP'd Jorge.
Yeah, Masvidal. for Drake putting $275,000 on Jorge, that's on you, bro. Like no one thought that Jorge had a shot.
Yeah,
and if you did, you're not a real mixed martial arts fan.
Yep.
And I love Jorge, He had no shot at winning that fight.
No,
he did in the fourth round. He did in the fourth round when he rocked Colby, but he was so tired and so gassed that he couldn't
press him.
He couldn't push forward to finish that fight. So
no, we're good. We'll look to we probably should do another series here soon.
Yeah, we'll do a series. We'll get Justin involved, especially if it.
Yeah, let's do a UFC one, a top 10 UFC. That would be fun.
But obviously, got to thank our sponsors as always, MySlabs. That's MySlabs.com. Buy and sell your slabbed cards, slabbed comic books, and sealed wax for only up to 1% fees. The web's premier marketplace for collectors and investors. Slab Savers, protectyourslabs.com. If you use code DREAM3, you'll get 10% off your order. Those guys make great stuff. They protect all my cards. Graded Card Solutions, that's gradedship.com. Use code DREAM15 to get 15% off your order. Don't trust the post office. Ship your cards. Definitely take care of your stuff when you're shipping it. And finally, Nation Golf Company. Join the fellowship at nationgolfco.com. Follow them on Instagram. Great people. But another great podcast today. I'm sure I'll be uploading this tonight because I'll probably get another 3 hours of sleep thanks to my brand new son. Working on some other things. Remember, if you have any questions, comments, reach out to us on Instagram, on Twitter. Share the show. Give us a like, depending on where you're watching it. Remember, we're on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, on Spotify. Anywhere you can find podcasts, we're up on there. We've got a Facebook page, www.facebook.com/The Dream 3 Podcast, our YouTube page, our Twitch page, wherever.
Follow it all.
Follow it all.
Download it all.
Tell us we suck. Just give us some sort of comment. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
We'll take a you suck. Only if the Kurt Angle music is playing.
Hey, we're over 830 total downloads. So thank you everybody for listening. Anyway, this is probably the worst podcast you've ever listened to in your life, but we continue to thank you.
800 other people agree.
Yes. So until next time, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.